Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and welcome to a special Christmas bonus episode of 70mm, a podcast for film fans just like you. With me, as always, is artist Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our holiday expert, Protolexis.
The blessing.
Proto's hands were up in his mouth like mandibles.
Oh, God.
Merry Christmas, if that's your sort of thing. But this month, it's Christmas in December. That's our theme. That means each episode is a surprise for our community, everybody. We're not releasing these early for patrons. And you can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip right to our main course, which is Christmas Vacation. So just to recap, we're off this month. We recorded these weeks and maybe even months ago. Who knows what the date is when we recorded Christmas Vacation? The fall of 70mm, still going hard. We started this month with Die Hard. Jeez. Amazing discussion. One of my favorites. I feel like we recorded it 4 months ago. And then I don't even know if we have a Discord community to come back to after last week's Old Boy episode. It's been a while since we recorded that episode, but Proto, do you think we'll have a community to come back to? It's now a week since that episode was posted.
It could very well be the worst optics we've had on this show when it comes to film lovers.
Oh my God. Danny, what was your favorite scene in Old Boy? Do you have one off the top of your head looking back?
I can't even remember this movie.
The credits? Were the credits your favorite scene when you had to stop watching?
The digital knife in his back still rings true to me.
That's right.
Fake
I can't wait
knife.
to see what art you cook up for these episodes.
Me too.
We're still so far out from them starting, but... and then next week, we've actually already recorded next week's episode. The inner workings of planning this month, folks. You don't even know, okay? And then next week, we're going to be announcing our 200th episode, which will be in early January. But this week, it's Christmas Vacation. It's Christmas Day. Folks are probably opening presents,
This is our gift to you.
Yeah, well, we're waking up. We're just kind of praying that our child uses this bike as opposed to the bike we bought him 4 months ago, probably. He wants a brand new bike, even though we just got him one. It's a whole thing, folks. What are you doing Christmas morning, Proto? What's your setup like?
Our setup, we try to keep it local, just me, the wife, the 3 kids. And a few years ago, we kind of transitioned to staying at our house. Which is great.
The way to
I
go.
love it. Leaving your house is probably the worst thing you could do on a holiday.
It's
but
hell.
my family, my parents have been coming to dinner. It kind of takes it off, my mom's plate a little bit. So they kind of come over. We have the dinner at our house, and I've really enjoyed that. So that's been our path going forward the past few years. Of course, COVID has thrown a wrench in it a couple years, but I just love being in my house, putting a movie on, maybe a football game, sitting on the couch in the sweats. God, that's it.
Do you
Christmas sweats.
I was thinking through our traditions. Do you guys get the Disney Christmas Day parade up there? Is it televised for you guys?
I don't have cable TV. I don't even know where I would even watch that. Maybe YouTube.
So it wasn't a thing for you guys growing up to ever watch?
I think
that
it was
parade?
growing up. I think there was probably a parade on every year.
They do it. I feel like I've
to.
seen it on Thanksgiving. They do a Thanksgiving parade, right?
That's the Macy's.
What's the one where Will Ferrell hosted it in character as Anchorman or something? Was that a year? Does that ring a bell to anybody?
Mm-mm.
Maybe I dreamed
I
that.
don't know.
I think that's a fever dream.
So wait, Proto, what do you have for dinner on Christmas? What's on the menu?
It's changed a couple times. My favorite, honestly, because it was super easy, is we got fresh pasta. Kind of like we had when we had our last trip, the lake house trip.
Oh my God, that pasta.
And we had eggplant rollatini, which was,
gosh.
It was a prepared food that was frozen, but you just throw that baby in the oven for 20 minutes and it comes out perfect. And that was the best dinner to me because it was delicious and it took 20 minutes to prep. And then you're done. But Jenna also, last year, it was the first year she did what do they call it? They call it I think a ham party, where you get a ham and then you make like ham sliders.
Oh,
that was good too.
Sliders.
Yeah, she's very. I mean, Jenna loves to cook. She's very much into experimentation. So who knows what it'll be this year?
Right.
I love when Jen experiments.
What are your Christmas morning plans? You got like 9 kids, so you're up at 3 a.m. I guess, waiting for them to wake up.
We stay home as well in the morning. We do all of our Christmas here. And then I guess around or late morning lunchtime, I go to my parents' house. And then we just do the Christmas there. It's pretty simple. I do like being home in the mornings for our family. We do our pasta dinner Christmas Eve, though. We do fettuccine Alfredo. That's our Christmas dinner, Eve dinner. And that's about it. But Christmas Eve, Casey and I wrap all the presents watching this movie. We watch Christmas Vacation every year on Christmas Eve while we're doing all the Christmas wrapping.
It's Christmas in July right now when we're recording this. We're so far off from Christmas.
I don't even know what day it is.
Well, if I can say,
please.
I'm glad that we recorded this one last because it actually feels like Christmas this week.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, really it's Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
And I was watching the Eagles game last night, Monday night. They won. Beat the Kansas.
Win.
They beat the Kansas City Butterfingers last night.
Oh, the Kelsey brothers.
It was beautiful. Yeah, the Kelsey showdown. But I'm watching on ESPN and I'm getting Christmas ads, and I'm like, it's starting to feel like Christmas. So this is great.
You need to believe. First step. We usually go to my sister's on Christmas Eve. It's always a big Pollyanna thing. All the my sisters will be there. My brother will be there. All their kids, and we're sitting there.
What's Pollyanna?
Where you pick names out of a hat. I think it has a different name, but you pick names out of a hat, and that's the person you have to get a gift for. And she has like this really big living room. It's just this, like the ideal setup for a large family Pollyanna festivity. And there's always a master of ceremonies handing out gifts. You got to go through, pick a gift. It used to be my dad, then it went to me, and then we were rotating it with our nieces and nephews. And then Christmas morning, it's just James at our house. Well, and the dogs, but James will open gifts. I would personally love to just not go anywhere on Christmas. However, we do go to her parents' house Christmas Day later because, James is getting, 4 times more gifts.
Of course.
At their house. So I don't foresee that tradition changing anytime soon.
One of my favorite traditions now is during Thanksgiving and Christmas is seeing Slim, you post about the TV situation at your in-laws every single year.
Every year.
Well, inevitably, we'll all go there, and I retire to the living room on the couch to see what I can put on. And it's generally, this could be like my sister's house if I'm in my mom's in-law suite, but she's not an in-law, but it'll be like CSI on TBS in SD or something. And I'm like, I got to get this remote cooking here. I got to figure this out. It's never on HD, and I need someone to have a sit down conversation with me.
But is it the same TV every year?
No, it's a different TV.
I'm just wondering how it's getting switched back.
I don't know. I have to, gauge. Do I want to have a discussion with the family about the HD scenario here and the remote? Is it worth it? I mean, you remember at our most recent lake house vacation trip, that TV.
Lord have mercy.
We went on a trip together, and they had like a Samsung frame TV.
Yeah.
And people were watching it. I thought I was losing my mind. I walk into that room and I'm like slapping people. What are you doing watching this quality picture on this TV? It's like,
it was like a tie-dye swirl of like the motion smoothing on the
unwatchable. And nobody was batting an eye. These are close friends of mine. They're sitting in front of this TV. It's like a washout. They can't make anything out of this TV. I'm like snapping my fingers in front of people's faces. God. Anyway, Christmas Vacation is our pick this week. Hopefully everyone's relaxing. Maybe you're getting to this episode at some point later in the week. You have a relaxing week.
Just relax.
Just relax. Just please, God, relax. That's what we're doing in December. We're relaxing right now. Pearl, what is Christmas Vacation? National Lampoon's about?
Christmas Vacation follows the story of the Griswold family, led by Clark Griswold, in his attempt to make the greatest Christmas that an American dad can make for his family, an extended family. You know, he's going to do it all, right? He's going to cut down the 20-foot tree out in the wilderness. How did he first? I would love a deleted scene.
Never seen this before. Mid synopsis.
It looks like the movie makes it seem like they hiked for like 5 miles, and then you're led to believe that he's hauling this tree, rooting, stumping all
him and
back
Russ.
to the car.
Him and Russ are carrying that thing back.
Bloody fingers.
So you got to get the tree, right? You got to trip your entire town's electrical grid. That's another memory to make. Also kidnap your boss. You know, you got to do it all. And then of course the family comes, and what's a holiday without having a surprise visit from your cousin? You know, your crazy cousin coming in his RV, bringing his Pennzoil fueled dog as well.
Put it out.
I mean, bless Clark's heart. If this happened to me, I might have just like skipped town, got a motel. That dog comes out of the RV, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. But you know, he's pretty much forever the optimist until he's really broken by not getting his company bonus that he's relying on. But this is where the Christmas magic really kicks in this movie, right? Because he's got nothing left, and this is like, I mean, step aside, It's a Wonderful Life.
Sit down.
Clark is going to get what he deserves, as his cousin hauls his boss back to the room, and he gets his bonus, and they get their pool. I mean, we hope eventually. And I mean, hijinks throughout this movie. Of course, we've all seen it. We all know. But this is the embodiment of the Christmas spirit for some, for many, in Christmas Vacation.
For all.
Yeah.
Who can say?
Yeah.
I was actually thinking back to the last National Lampoons we covered. It was National Lampoon's Vacation. Remember, Danny, your art with Clark?
Kissing the sandwich.
And Dale was on that episode, and these are, you know, recorded out of order. So Dale is in the booth right now. He's crunching the numbers for our December plans still. So Dale, we love you. Where do we even start? We'll go around the room, you know, 3 things each. We'll close with our letterboxed rating. But Danny, you had said this is a yearly watch for you. Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve every year for I don't even know how long. We've always kind of wrapped presents on Christmas Eve, just get it all together, get it all done. But we've put this movie on every year for that occasion. I'm sure we'll do it again this Eve. I don't think we'll change it. We'll just watch it again. But yeah, this for me, I mean, I love like Home Alone, but this I feel like is the best Christmas movie. It's so iconic, and Chevy is on top of the world in this movie. His performance in every scene, I don't think anyone could have done it better than him. His comedic chops, his comedic timing, his physical comedy, just even the little things. One of my favorite little bits is when he is putting the lights up and gets turned around on the ladder, and he's trying to figure out how to get his arm in and out and around. It's just the little subtle moments. I mean, this is my first point, is how good Chevy is in this film. And I can't get over it. His interactions with Russ are so funny, and even like the touching moments with his father, I love. He's incredible in this, and I mean, even outside of Christmas, it's one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah. I mean, who's the basketball player at the top of their game? James Harden. That's what Chevy Chase is in these movies. I feel like top of his freaking game.
I can't believe we just said James Harden.
And like, even I don't know. It's so wild to look back that he was so good in these movies. Like the other vacations and then this one. And I think I had done an episode with probably Dale on an old podcast about this movie. And you get like different viewings of Chevy as you go through, as you get older, and then you rewatch them. You just like find a different level of kind of appreciation for his character and his mannerisms. I mean, right at the onset when he's like they're driving, and he says he's like, what does he say? He tries to say like, "Eat my dust," and Russ corrects him. And just the way he whatevers Russ and like bats his aside. Whatever, Russ. Whatever. There's just so much good stuff. The hand thing on the ladder is amazing. When he has the Jason mask and he talks to his neighbors, he's like, "Bend over, I'll show you." He says, "I wasn't talking to you." It's just, I mean, there's so much good stuff from Chevy in this movie, I think.
I've said it on previous episodes that I'm somewhat of a Chevy denier.
Right.
Modern
day, everyone is. Yeah. Modern day Chevy, he's not good to everyone.
Yeah. But I mean, like his movies too, like these movies. So like when we did Vacation, I didn't really find him that funny. And I watched this for the first time last year. And I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. But I think the more you're familiar with his work, the funnier he is. Like I had a much better time watching this, full disclosure, this time than I did the first time. And I think there's something about his comedy. Almost it's like, it's funnier when you know what's coming or something. Like I just found him funnier when I knew what was about to happen as I was watching this, or I understood like this character having seen it before. So I thought he was much funnier the second time around. So I think Chevy's grown on me a little bit.
Oh, will you go back to the other ones?
Well, I only saw The Vacation.
So you haven't seen European Vacation?
No, I haven't seen European Vacation.
Gotcha.
But I'd like to watch it at some point. But yeah, I mean, I think I could see myself watching this more. And this is one of the things I thought of watching this is that I wish I never watched this growing up, you know? So I don't have like a nostalgia, but I almost feel like as I was watching this, I felt a nostalgia for it growing.
Right.
As I'm watching it, I could see that like, if I watch this every year, I think it'll mean more and more to me, and it'll feel more and more like a top Christmas movie, just because of like the way it hits on so many things so well.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, I wonder, how much of these movies being on and your family, your older family members laughing at it is just enough osmosis for you to just have that connection like right away. Like, oh yeah, that movie, I know that movie, and love it. How about when he's at the in the mall at the lingerie counter?
All-timer.
It's amazing.
His laugh when she says, "Can I take something out for you?"
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Can I take something out for you?
It's where I learned my wheeze.
That is the Danny Wheeze, the origination of it.
Yeah. It's my homage to Chevy.
I guess my first point is really like the character of Clark W. Griswold in this movie. Like he wants to take over for his dad, and he wants to have like this big family holiday. I mean, first of all, that family's there for like a friggin' month.
Yeah.
It feels like. I mean, they get there early December and it starts happening. First of all, are you insane? Like I would never be home.
Never.
I'd be out.
2
I'd
days
just start
max.
making up hockey games that I'd be going to every night.
Is that what you do to us on Apex?
Oh. We got to move on.
Wow.
But I love Clark in this movie. There's so many like great kind of, he's like anticipating the bonus check, which we get into. I have a lot of notes in the bonus check and inflation, by the way.
Talk to me.
We'll get into it. But his like, planning around a bonus check, it doesn't come. He's like kind of detached even at certain points from the relatives even being over. Like that funny scene with the doorbell going off and then it's getting slower and slower every time it goes off because everyone realizes what's about to happen. But him just like the little things, like trying to get the lights to work. And just like having them not work and being just kind of like a total downer. I love when Audrey defends him in front of, the relatives. Great father moment there. And then at the end of the movie, it's like he's just like so happy that it worked. There's happiness and the trip is a success finally. And he's like, I did it. And like that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Clark character in this one is my favorite out of all the vacations. Probably because I'm closer to this one now. And then it's just the seasonal aspect of it. But yeah, Clark is one of my all-time favorite movie dads, movie characters, period. Proto, you're number one?
Yeah, you mentioned having the family member staying the whole week or month or whatever it was. I kind of wish I had this experience.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I don't think I'd want it now. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe if I had like the right house with like an in-law suite or just like extra spare bedrooms to have everybody for a week, it would be crazy. It would be nuts. But man, I think there's something about family you don't see all year coming together and being together that is special on like a holiday, like the actual day, if it's Thanksgiving. But if you were to do that for a week, it seems like it would feel like an amazing event. That it would be like if you had like cousins, like I wish I had like that experience of like, they don't really show this in this movie. It's just like his kids. But to think if like you had cousins who are all coming together, spending a week together, God, as a kid, that would just be like the greatest thing ever. And I'm really envious for people who do get to experience that. And it makes me appreciate just like the hell that Clark goes through in this movie to really like make it happen for his family. Yeah. Because I mean, I think for Clark and Ellen, it's mostly like a hellish experience, but it would mean so much for everyone else. And it would just like make the holiday memories that you want to make. So I wish I had that. And maybe, I don't know. I won't let my dreams be dreams. Maybe I'll make it happen in the future.
Is this happening next year? Jenna, are you listening right now? Jenna, I don't think I'd be able to do a week. I wouldn't even be able to plan it. I'd be so checked out. I'd be donezo. Not for me. Not for me. Irish Goodbye Day 1.
I mean, I'm with you, Proto. I would love to host something like this as well. I think I would never see Casey. She'd find a corner in her closet, close the door, reading books. She would not come out for this. It'd be so many people. We kind of do it for Thanksgiving at my parents' side. I see cousins, I see uncles, aunts that I don't see all year, ever, except for Thanksgiving. So I do kind of get a taste of it, but I would love it for Christmas time.
Next on your list, Danny?
I think this is like one of the most quotable movies for me. I think I quote it all year round, browsing. I don't know, Margot. I say that to Casey constantly. But I think for me, my favorite scenes are Clark putting up the lights on the house because that's what I do every year by myself. Honestly, I kind of like it that way, but him putting the lights up, the wad of lights coming out, almost falling off the roof. I feel like I'm going to fall off the roof every time I do this. I connect to Clark so much in the lights putting up scene that it's amazing, even down to, the light's not almost working. I feel like every year I plug it in, something's wrong, something's off. There's a strand off. And I don't know if there's another scene in cinema that I connect to more than Clark putting up lights on a house. And I've never actually looked into this, but I found there was I looked into some history of the making of. And this was like, it feels like the first Aragorn kicking a helmet scene is Clark punching the snowman or the Santa Claus, and he breaks his pinky on it.
Oh,
and
really?
It's the scene that they use because he breaks his pinky, and him continuing like to kick things is because he can't hit him anymore because he broke his finger on the Santa.
I mean, that last kick is perfect too. That's like a perfect,
so
kickoff. Punt,
oh man, but I feel that anger, I feel that frustration and just wanting to just break everything. I love the decorating of the house. And then to get the moment where she flips the switch and it sparks it's just such a great moment. Oh man, I love it.
What's the roof situation over there? It's gotta be hot as hell when you're putting those lights up. What's the temperature when you're putting lights up?
Who knows? Any given day, it could be 90 degrees or 60 here at this time of year. It's not terribly hot by December. Well, I'll do it this coming Saturday, so it'll be in the 80s most likely.
Proto spent all his Christmas lights money on that big rig, the PC rig.
Yeah, no lights for the Protolex's
No
house.
lights this year. Actually, I did buy 2 strands of the vintage ceramics at Ace Hardware.
Oh,
At
Ace
Ace.
Hardware, the Ace Nation.
You did it.
The helpful place.
I
Yeah,
love the vintage lights.
yeah.
The big fat bulbs.
I bought the LEDs, but they try to replicate it, but there's something about the LED light. It just
Too bright.
it doesn't work for us. When he's putting the lights up, is it standard to staple them into the roof? That
No.
seems psychotic.
That's a Griswold. That's a
Clark
Griswold thing.
Griswold special.
Who is stapling into shingles?
There probably were a lot of people that do that. There's probably a lot
You're
of
probably
Clarks
right.
out there.
Psychotic.
We haven't even really talked about it, but there's a 4K that came out, I guess, this past year of this. That's the version. I didn't watch the physical 4K, but the digital version was 4K. I thought it looked great. I mean, the animation at the front of this movie looks better than I have ever seen. I mean, not that it's like an amazing segment, but it looks pretty clean.
Bill Croyer Films
Oh,
was the animation studio that did that. They did the Ferngully movie, and also famously did the Making of Me animation segment at Epcot here in Orlando, where it's a sperm fertilizing an egg to learn how the body creates human life in the Wonders of Life Pavilion at Epcot.
Hello.
Narrated by Martin Short.
Is this on YouTube? Can I watch this on YouTube?
I'm pretty sure you can watch the animated sperm.
Very strange.
You're telling
video.
me Disney outsourced animation for their theme park?
Is he an Imagineer?
I don't know if Bill was. Yeah, I guess this would have been his 2D studio did this.
Shocking to me.
I mean, I know his studio did this. I don't know why Disney would have. I mean, at 89. I don't know. Actually, this was maybe they've more close to shuttering their studios here.
Dale, can you research this before?
This is interesting conversation. I didn't go that far to think about it.
Another thing I like about the light scene is you can the whole of them trying to figure out how the lights are working, and there's that one switch in the garage that they keep flicking on and off. But there's like great storytelling in that moment where like Ellen stops for a second and she's like just like thinking,
yeah.
and then it's like it clicks in her head. She's like, "Oh, it must be the switch in the garage." And then she doesn't say anything. She just goes and flips it. And the fact that she doesn't say anything to Clark, he like thinks he did it somehow, that finally plugging it in. That's such like a great like marriage relationship scene where, one person is like figuring it out and like, well, just let them believe what they want to believe about this.
God, Beverly. She's a fox in this movie. Beverly. My God. Call me.
Yeah.
That cutout shirt she wears at the end.
Hello. My next point is let's get into this bonus check. Because when I rewatched this last year, I was like, I went on a Reddit search because he's anticipating this bonus check. He's already spent $7,500 on a down payment on a pool in anticipation of getting a bonus check. So I'm like, what does this yearly bonus look like if he's putting $7,500 down? Reddit seems to think, and the general consensus when I looked last year, that this check was at least $20,000.
Yeah.
A yearly $20,000 range bonus check. And then on my review, someone commented that like adjusting for inflation today, that bonus check could likely be $57,000 from his work. What?
That's a year's salary for people.
Yeah, it's insane.
Can you imagine getting a bonus check that high yearly?
No. That's
No,
absurd.
I don't even know. To make cereal additives.
Should we be making cereal additives? Is that what we need to be doing?
Yeah, that when he that's what I kind of figured. I was like, a pool probably in that time at least 15 grand. It's got to be, especially like the
15 to
in-ground
20.
pool.
Now
And then to
in-grounds
take your
are
whole
like-
family on vacation, it has to be another 5 grand.
God. Yeah, he's like, if there's extra money, I'll fly everyone out for the opening of the pool. Like the amount of money to do that is mind blowing.
Also, Clark, like, hold on. You don't have to promise anything, Clark.
Yeah, chill, Clark.
You want to talk to Ellen first?
He's riding the high. Oh my God. Proto, next on your list.
Next on my list, there's a lot of like really sentimental moments or like just like thoughtful moments in this movie that I love. One, I love the scene of him in the attic just watching the old footage of his earlier Christmas. I think that's like an amazing scene. That kind of like caught me off guard the first time I saw this. This time watching though, I love the scene where the grandparents are in the bunk beds and the grandfather, he's like up on the second, and he's just like staring into the ceiling. And I kind of like thought of like, oh my God, that could be me in like 40 years.
In 40 years.
Or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking of like, what if I find myself, my oldest, Winnie, has us over for Christmas. She puts us in the kids' room. And there I am back in a bunk bed on Christmas Eve, staring into the ceiling. Like, how did I get here?
You'd be discording us from the bed, asking that question.
Sending a selfie in the bed.
Horseman selfie from the top of the bed. Gray-haired Proto. It's not even Discord. Whatever replaces Discord in 40 years, 30 years. God, hopefully most of us are alive in 30 years to see that message that Proto sends.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of great sentimental moments in this movie. I took so many notes. This isn't a sentimental moment, but the squirrel attack.
Oh my God.
That was the first thing I just scrolled to. The squirrel and dog attack Elaine next door. The music in the squirrel scene, oh my God, amazing. But I mean, also the tree, like I meant to bring it up earlier, but the tree, like that tree is so big in that living room. There's just like no way to manage that tree. And then it goes up in flames in like 2 seconds.
That would have burnt the entire house down.
Yeah.
There's no way that tree is the only thing that catches fire.
It's such great comedy when he cuts the string and opens it, and it's just like from outside the house, the branch is just like flying through the windows.
Also, a great Chevy scene that I forgot in my notes is when they're eating dinner and he uses his tie as a napkin by accident.
So subtle.
It is. Danny, next on your list? Final point.
Final point. God, I could talk about this movie forever. I think every person in this film is perfectly cast, from Cousin Eddie to both grandparents. I mean, everyone. I don't even know how they did like the full dinner scenes without like when Clark says the news saw Santa spotted.
Oh my
God. Eddie's legit like reaction to that of like, you serious, Clark?
You serious, Clark?
Gets me every time because it's so genuine that he believes that there's like that Clark is reporting on Santa Claus, and it just kills me. So to think that all these people are around this dinner table filming, I would just love to have been a fly on the wall because they're all so funny themselves, but they're all perfectly cast for this film. The other thing that I found funny, in 1989, there was only 2 Christmas movies out at the time. It was this and Prancer, and John Galecki was in both of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Prancer.
Yeah.
I gotta look
and
this up.
and National Lampoon's dethroned Back to the Future 2 as the top spot in December.
Wow. Prancer, 1989. Look at this. This poster is pretty good though.
Oh, we loved Prancer growing up.
3.0 average. They lost the true spirit of Christmas and found it locked in the heart of one little girl. Sam Elliott's in this. Okay, stay tuned, folks. Do you have you had a clamshell of this one, of Prancer?
I think we did growing up. Anyway, I just love this cast. I think everyone is incredibly funny and plays the role perfectly. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry to distract. I just clicked on John D. Hancock's filmography. I have to DM you this link
Excuse me.
to one other movie. I mean, look at this poster
Damn me.
of Nick Nolte in Weeds, 1987.
Oh my
That is
God.
a banger poster.
Yeah.
Nick.
That's like Bill Sienkiewicz comic book cover. A lot of white.
In the Bill, please.
My final point, I think we actually covered everything.
Is that?
How about, I mean, when they get into that like road rage incident, man, the mood in that car would
God.
shift so fast.
Everyone
if that
should have
ever
died.
happened. Oh my God. Bend over, I'll show you. I have to eat so I can take my back pill. That one cracked me up, this feeling. When the tree, like, I think goes up in flames, he sounds like Kermit the Frog. He's like, my tree! My tree! Oh, yeah. He had a great moment with his dad. He's like, all our holidays were such a mess. How'd you get through it? And he's like, I had a lot of help from Jack Daniels. And they had that, like, laughing moment because they're just change roles. Proto, final point from you.
Final point is Randall Rudy Randy Quaid. How about Randy in this movie?
Yeah.
I saw a Randy Quaid movie a year or two ago called The Last Detail with Jack Nicholson, and he almost single-handedly destroyed that movie. But this, I think he's great in this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe his best role. I haven't seen all of his movies, but
Independence Day.
I love that the one shot in Walmart of him and Clark walking, and just he's putting on a clinic in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like the physicality of him just like grabbing random stuff off the shelves, 3 giant bags of dog food, and you just know that it's all on Clark's bill the whole time. Amazing scene. I think, I mean, there's so much things that like is disgusting about this character, but Randy is just like the pitch perfect casting for it. And he's so funny. So I loved him in this.
Yeah. There was, I always think of them drinking the eggnog. I was at like Kohl's last year and they got some weird licensing thing with, I guess, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. They were selling that like eggnog
The moose
cup.
mug.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And a bunch of
it's-
other like knickknacks from the movie. It was very strange.
Well, that's the moose from Wally World.
Wally World. Oh,
Yeah, that's the mascot.
Right. Comes full circle, doesn't it? Yeah, Randy's a trip. I mean, how about him dumping the feces into the sewer?
That shot of it coming out too is disgusting.
I mean, that is a lot of health code violations right there.
I always wonder how hard it was for Randy to get into character.
I know. It just felt like it was Randy. It was him.
Yeah.
Just all him.
The mock turtleneck is always
Oh my God.
so good.
His outfit, those shoes. It's dynamite.
Dynamite.
Danny, honorable mentions and final rating.
Honorable mentions. The dog, the scene in the grocery store where he's packing the dog food, the quick shot of Clark putting the light bulb down and he crushing it kills me every time too. It's so subtle. He slams it between the 2 bags of dog food. The sap scene when they're in bed after the tree cutting and the sap is sticking to her hair, the magazine, the lamp, that whole comedy bit is so funny to me. Saluting the exploding Santa Claus at the end and the rocket's red glare and her saying grace kills me every time too. Chevy shaking the present with the cat inside of it.
Oh my God.
It's just all so funny. I think this movie is pitch perfect for what it is. It's always a 5-star movie for me. Always.
5 bang. Holiday 5 bang. I mean, he gets 20% more on his bonus check by the end of the movie too. Remember?
Yeah, that's
The
insane.
boss. I also love when the cop found out the whole story. He's like, if I had a rubber hose, I'd keep with it.
And his monologue losing his S
Yeah.
in that scene before oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Also, I feel like him or someone having like a freak out at one of these weeks long family events feels very real too. Like they like you'd hit your limit, you'd say something you regret, and then you'd have to like kind of like rebound from there, and it's like awkward for a while. 5 stars from me.
Yeah,
easy. 5 bang.
Bring us home, Proto.
Honorable mentions. The daughter Frozen.
Oh my God, her eyes.
The great scene. The classic dude conversation of when they're in bed, talking about, I think they're like someone else they weren't expecting was coming for Christmas, and Clark just blowing it off like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just like one more couple. What's the big deal? We'll just like find a place for them to sleep. And her being like, Clark, it's much more complicated than that. It's like, I've lived this conversation so many times about so many different things. Oh my God. I love the scene. We didn't really talk about the neighbors. But the ice sword flying into their house and breaking their stereo, whatever. Like, how confused would you be if that happened? Like the fact, like the way they explain it, like it's just wet. They like, why is it all wet? And what destroyed it? It's such a great
I don't know,
bit.
Margot.
Also, that stereo system setup, it looked like 4 Ataris like lined up next to each other. There's just like computer chips hanging out of it.
Chevy getting hit with the attic stairs to the head.
Oh my God.
He's dead immediately.
But him getting heat from busting through the ceiling with his feet, so he just puts his hands down there. Yeah, he could.
The outlet with 15 attachments. Insane.
I feel like I still live that today.
Yeah.
In 2023.
Nothing's changed.
Did I break wind? Jesus. I found the ending, the fact that they don't actually show Christmas. Wait, is that supposed to be Christmas Eve? Like it ends on Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that they don't show Christmas Day. It's kind of surprising, but I think you're right. I think the ending's great, you know, where it ends with him just like out in the front lawn looking up at the stars. Yeah. So I think it's kind of surprising, but it fits well. Yeah, I had a much better time watching this. I watched it with Jenna too. We actually turned it on for like the family, but then like Jenna was like, I don't think the kids can watch this. And I was like, I think you're right. But they got disinterested and left. So it all worked out. But I'm still at 3 stars for this. I think it's good. I think the more I watch this, the more I like it. Chevy's growing on me.
Let's just say mentally, this is a 3.5 star viewing from Proto. We're slowly getting closer to the 4 star, maybe next time around. What did Jenna think? Did Jenna stay the whole time?
Yeah, you know, I didn't ask her what she thought, but she was laughing a good bit. We were having fun. Okay. It's rare for us to watch a movie together, so it's nice.
Next week is the last one for Christmas in December, and we're going to announce our plans for episode 200. The big 200. 4 years almost. We've been pushing. Horde.
God.
So January is going to be a really big month. Hopefully folks are enjoying these drops, enjoying maybe taking a break themselves. Do we do closing thoughts on these bonus episodes? I don't even remember what we did last time.
I don't think so.
No? All right.
Just Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We could end with Proto reading the Christmas story.
Proto and ChatGPT reading some Christmas stories. We'll see everybody next week. 70mm is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Protolexis. Producer at large, Dale_A. And music composed by Cinematric. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to pro or patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.